Movement Podcast, an online community for professional creatives.
Movement is a digital community for professional creatives that want to dig deeper.
We want to help people find their brand of professional to create their dream life and career.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Movement Podcast. We are back. Feels like it's been a long time. We took a little bit off because Mallory just opened a new salon.
I sure did. I'm so excited.
It's beautiful.
It feels so weird saying opened a new salon. Like we literally never stopped business.
Yeah.
I was just moving and rebranding and putting furniture together while we were still working in the other space, but in the new space.
Yep.
It's been exhausting, but so worth it. And I'm so happy to be here. It's actually like a little emotional with myself in the car the other day. I was like, I'm just so happy there.
Yeah.
And I want to be at work and everybody likes it.
Yeah.
It was a nice moment.
Everything's so beautiful in here. And I mean, of course, I love the other salon space, but it's just
over it.
It's a different vibe. You know?
It's a different vibe. And I think that's why I got so emotional, if I'm being honest with you. Like, it just feels so much more like me.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you know, probably more than anyone, how the other space at Stag and Doe, it just didn't feel like it fit anymore.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to start trying to make it this because it was never going to be this.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a whole other podcast when you're rebranding.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This feels so right and it feels so good. And I'm just so happy to be here and I'm excited to be here. And I want to talk about the things I was afraid to talk about before.
Yeah.
I know that sounds like, come on, but like
you feel like you can back up what you're saying now.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
That's a good way of putting that.
Yeah. I get it. And it was chaos moving from one salon to another. There wasn't much to move, but
there was so much to move.
There was, but
there wasn't
like a number, but there was a whole bunch of huge things to move.
Like, to sell. And I love you because you sold all of that stuff on Facebook Marketplace for me.
It was really quick too.
Adrienne doesn't even work for me anymore, and she worked her ass off for like 3 weeks.
I got some cube shelves though.
That's true. You did.
Yeah,
I love the
nice
cube shelves.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I love IKEA, in case no one else knows.
Mm-hmm. And we're here. This is not a working day at the salon, so we're just chilling on the couch in front of the fireplace in the new break room area.
Peyton's been calling it the living room, and I'm down with it.
Yeah,
because like it's been multifunctional. Like we send clients back here while like if they're here a little early and have to wait on their stylist or whatever.
Yeah.
And it has not been weird. It's been great. And like where we're at now, we have so much outside space. So if a stylist is like, you know what, I need a minute and I don't want to be around anyone at all. There's a lot of outside seating.
Yep.
That's really nice. A little dose of vitamin D, pick you back up.
And we're actually doing photos today of the space, but it's just so cute. There's like different kinds of candy and these cute ass coffee cups and mugs. There's a whole
labor of love
bar,
hanging that shit up.
a nugget ice maker. Like just everything is so pretty. Like I can't wait for everybody to see it. It's gorgeous.
And all I can do is look around and see the things that aren't done yet.
Oh, of course. That's you.
No, it really is almost done though. I mean, I need to gold leaf the floor and that'll take time. That'll be a section at a time. And we're waiting on the lights to come in for that chandelier and the shampoo alcove and the plants. Like that's the bulk of the to-do list. I've got to hang our licenses up.
And the disco balls.
Oh yeah, that's right. I don't know how I keep forgetting about those. That's going to be so great in the hallway.
Yeah. There's a big open space in the front and then there's a hallway that leads to the living room. And she's going to put disco balls hanging from the ceiling. It's going to be so cool.
I'm so stoked. I can't wait.
So cute. I can't wait.
Yep.
So back to the actual episode.
Yeah. Today.
Yeah. We're talking about, I am going to talk about how to admire people without copying them when you are new to this whole like creative industry. And
I'm going to talk about vision boarding and the whys and the hows and the what to keep in mind.
Yeah. And I feel like I am the type to just like put a bunch of stuff on a board and not really like curate it enough. And I feel like your course helps put meaning onto those.
Yeah, I teach you how to use the board.
Yeah.
Instead of just going and piling in photos, which is what a lot of people do.
Just having like a board of pretty things.
Right. It's like, that's pretty, but now what do I do with it?
Yeah.
So I teach you what to do with it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I am just going to start out with my experience on starting my photography business, starting a creative business. So I feel like whenever you are starting out, you don't know how to be you and have a business that people are drawn to. And you really don't know what you're doing yet. You might be a little bit insecure about how to put your business out there. And like for me, what I did was I just followed a bunch of photographers on Facebook because Instagram was like just starting then.
Actually, the story I know you're about to tell, I'm not even sure Instagram was around yet.
Yeah. I don't think it was whenever I started.
I don't think it was.
Yeah. But I found this girl. I was in a bunch of like Facebook groups for photography. I found a photographer. She was a family photographer. She edited a certain way. She had a bunch of little kids. She had this bright, happy style. She used chevron, gray, yellow, white, craft paper.
Super hot in like 2004.
It was really cool, but that has never been me.
No.
Even, 8 years ago, it wasn't me. I thought I'm going to go with a style that people like because I already like her, and I just hated it. It didn't feel good. I didn't identify with it, and I didn't get the clients that I want. And I think she was one of the first people I followed on Instagram, and she just like knows how to do social media. So she like blew up. But all of those things said, that worked for her because it was her.
Right.
And me going down that road was just frustrating.
Mhm.
It didn't help me with my business in any way. I ended up having to completely redo everything. So look at these people, see what they're doing right, and take those things and use a version of those for your business.
Yeah, 100%. Adapt it to yourself. I mean, even like the personality thing, like if you feel like you identify and you're like, you know what, I'm bubbly and outgoing like that too, maybe I could be on my stories the way she's on her stories. But that doesn't mean you go and exactly replicate what's happening is what we're throwing out there for you.
Yeah, it didn't feel good. Didn't feel right.
Right.
And it took me like years to actually get my style after that to be myself. And I just started being myself more online, the way that I dress, the things that I like, what I talked about in my stories. And that's what drew clients to me. And I haven't had a church wedding since I like very first started, I think.
Mhm.
I just get my clients that like me, that like my style, that know me as a person because I'm going to be with you for a very hectic day. And I get like the partiers now.
Well, and you get the repeat clients, which I think is really cool. Like you'd get the wedding, and then I've seen that you do some newborn shots for those people that you did their weddings. And some, I know I've done some really great, like some of my favorite family shots with Adrian and the boudoir and stuff like that. Like I'm still waiting on you to bring that back.
Yeah, I know I really want to.
You really should.
But pretty much everyone who comes to me knows my style and how I am. And that took a long time to get to that point. And like whenever you're first starting, I feel like it's super frustrating because you want a certain look, but you can't just go out and get it.
No, you have to build it. And I think people can really tell they know when it's not genuine.
Yeah.
You can take on a persona, but then, and it might even work on social media, but then when you show up in person and it doesn't fit, that like, know, and trust that was starting to build is gone.
Yeah, exactly.
It feels fraudulent.
Yeah. You on your portfolio, on your website or on your social media, show what you want to sell. And that goes for literally everyone.
Oh my God, yes.
Hairstylists,
graphic design,
makeup artists, photographers.
I'm even going to throw like real estate out there.
Yeah.
If you don't want to sell, if you don't want to be a part of that starter home process, you want to be in that $1 million home situation, brand it appropriately.
Yeah.
Because if you look and act like an $80,000 home, that's what you're going to get.
Yeah. And just because you've done that doesn't mean you need to advertise it.
100%.
And just because you have done a certain kind of photography or a certain kind of hair, just because it's there and you think that you need that for content doesn't mean you have to advertise it.
I am going to piggyback on that for a second. Yeah. That's such a huge thing in hair, especially. Everyone tells you if you do it, photograph it. Yeah. If you don't want to keep doing that, don't waste your time.
If you are doing a bunch of things that you don't like, it's just going to suck all of the energy out of you.
And it becomes a different kind of burnout.
Yeah. It's not fun.
No, it's horrible.
But I don't know about
moderately soul crushing.
Maybe this is something that you can like give hairstylist advice on. But for photographers, a lot of photographers will put together like content building days. So photographers will set up a very aesthetically pleasing couple location, whatever, and you can pay like $100 and go just take pictures of these beautiful people in these beautiful outfits. And that will give you the content to put online.
100%.
And I know I work with a photographer. I second shoot for her. And she said that she went to like 3 or 4 of these. And I think they were like 100 to 150 each. She said she booked so much off of those photos.
I bet.
like of what she wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the beauty of that. And you and I do that for the salon stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it is so helpful, especially when I'm batching a couple months worth of content, the product photo type of things. And when I hate to call it filler because
Yeah, I know what you mean.
there's a purpose behind every photo. Like when we plan these sessions, we are looking for inspo. We are curating our props. We are picking out the best positions in the salon for those hand shots of cutting the hair or the product in use or something like that.
Yeah.
Because it is a small piece of what happens day to day when we don't have a chance to shoot it. Like it's an extension of the experience in your business.
Right.
So don't treat the flat lays like filler. Give them intention, give them purpose, try to put some personality in that.
Yeah.
So that it's not just, oh, that's a pretty photo, but what's the point? Like give it a point.
Yeah. So use the colors, use the products, use, like whatever images you think will attract your ideal client.
And the key is knowing your ideal client.
Yeah.
And you know how you can find out your ideal client?
How?
The Your Brand of Professional Intensive.
Oh, yeah.
But really, I mean, whether it's my program or someone else's, like having that opportunity to dig deep, discover not only what you want, but who you're trying to reach and really define why and how. All of that has to happen. That's the bigger part of the brand before you get to the color palette and the fun photo shoot stuff that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Like that part matters more so that you can get to the other stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing you could do is put together a shoot for yourself. Like if you're in the wedding industry, you could get a florist, someone who makes cakes, hairstylist. So they are.
I used to do those all the time, and I don't really want to do wedding hair anymore, but I still want to do a styled shoot just for that.
Yeah, they're fun.
It's just fun.
And it helps everyone because everyone can get photos for their social media. Stylist, you want to get into wedding hair, get with a wedding photographer.
Start building that community of people that are like in line with your brand that you share values with.
Yeah. And definitely whenever you are looking to do the styled shoot, make sure you're going to want to post those.
And have a planning meeting. Don't just tell everyone you bring your stuff and show up because it will be chaos.
Oh, chaos, man. I think it was the last time we did a styled shoot together. The model, I worked with him at my previous job. He was a beautiful man. He canceled on us that
day. Yeah, that was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But I forget his name, but the DJ that
filmed
is his name DJ?
Yeah. Oh. No, he is a DJ. No.
I was like, how funny.
His name is Mike. He is with Redline Productions. He's also a very beautiful man.
He really is.
Yeah.
But he is also the kindest soul. He showed up and he had so much fun pretending to be this girl's husband. They had never met before.
He brought his own suit.
He did. And it was a sharp ass suit.
Yeah, he looked so good.
It was great.
Yeah. And I worked with my favorite event planner. She's amazing. We had a good cake. That was just like a solid styled shoot, but it was also a solid amount of vendors and models, but there wasn't enough communication, I feel like, with all of us.
Oh no, and 98% of that was my fault for sure.
Well, I feel like we had like an outline, but we didn't have details.
We didn't. And every time you'd ask me a question, I would use the words, I don't care.
Yeah.
Meaning, I trust your judgment.
Yeah. And that was honestly really scary for a photographer, but Lynn helped me a lot. She's a wedding planner and she's amazing. And she
is amazing. She pulled that together with very little information and it was beautiful.
And she did it on her own.
Yes.
Like I helped her a little bit, but she set up an entire venue by herself. Like she's crazy. But you can do that with anything. Like if you are a hairstylist and you're fairly new and you're just getting a bunch of blondes, have a friend come in, give them, a textured haircut.
Yeah.
So that you have it for your portfolio or give discounted services on color.
I'm going to caveat that with do it correctly for yourself. Don't just toss out services like you won the lottery.
Yes.
Be very intentional with who you bring in for these services. Make sure they understand that you're going to be photographing every and all angle 10 times.
Yeah.
You're going to be using these on socials, all of that stuff. It's not just a free service. It's not a gift.
Yeah. And make sure that you are, putting out there this specific color, style, whatever is what I want to do. If you want this specifically, like hit me up and then make sure that those clients go well with what you are trying to achieve. You don't have to say yes to the first person that replies to your ad, I guess, for your planning session, but
right, be picky.
Yeah, but the possibilities are literally endless with that. There are people that are going to want to just take pictures with their husband or wife or whatever, and so many people are down to just do this portfolio building stuff. And it's huge to be yourself. There's this girl, Melissa Marshall. She is magnificent. Her photos are in magazines. She's done like these giant, like weekend long weddings that have to cost like $1 million. And she's just a really, really good photographer. And she's great at marketing herself. And she's different. And that's why people like her. And that's why she gets these huge weddings, because she's herself. She's different. She's not doing what everybody else wants to do. So her tagline is "For the Wildly in Love," which is so cute. And it's perfect for her because she does like elopements in other countries, and she does like mountainside elopements in the desert.
I know who you're talking about now. I remember you showing me her stuff. They really are stunning.
She's so good. And it goes with what she's doing. But I have seen so many people use that word for word. Don't just blatantly copy someone.
Yeah.
And especially if it's not like you as a person. Like, can you imagine me acting like I freaking climb a mountain and want to do all that stuff? Like, that's just not me.
I don't think you're a mountain climber, but I could see you go in the distance to get the shot.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Pick another one.
Okay. I mean, I do go like on the side of a mountain and walk around with my husband looking for snakes. So I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
You're a little bit of a mountain climber.
Yeah. Wrong thing. But I mean, like,
you're not going to go dive in the ocean and get that shot.
No. Absolutely not. You will not catch me on a boat.
Okay,
no
there's
way.
Adrian's limit.
Yeah.
Don't get her on a boat. Honestly, me either. I hate the beach. Unless it's cold and rainy.
And then, like, there are whales out there that could just swallow a boat whole. Like, you got me messed up.
Read Moby Dick too many times.
You will not catch me on a cruise. Won't happen. But with all that being said, like, if it's just not you, don't do it. If you don't dress up and wear a lot of color, don't act like it on your website.
Oh, 100%.
Like, reflect yourself.
Yes.
Find out the things that you love and try to mold your brand around that.
And I think it's really important to find the distinction between what you are attracted to and what you are.
Yeah.
For instance, there's a stylist that used to work for me. Her name is Kate. She's a literal angel on earth. She is very colorful and very artsy. And I mean, she can wear chartreuse and purple and make it look like the runway. And I'm forever jealous. And I think she's just so fun to look at the way she dresses. And it is fascinating. I would never.
No.
You know, and like, that's okay. I don't need to try to be Kate to appreciate what Kate does.
Yeah.
And I mean, same thing goes with, you know, Adrian and your Chevron story. You were so inspired by what she was putting out.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, I want my version of this. And then how well that didn't work out. Like, if I dressed like Kate, I would feel like a clown, not because she looks like a clown, but because it's not authentic to me.
Right.
It's stunning on her. It would be hilarious on me.
Yeah. And that is a great way to look at it. Like, it's working for them. Find out what your version of that is, and then just pimp the hell out of it. Like, put it out there as much as you can and just be authentic to you.
And you know how you can find your version of that.
How?
With a vision board. So, a few things here. A vision board is a plan, plain and simple. When done correctly, this can be a roadmap to reach your goal. This practice can be immensely helpful when laying out your brand, your strategy, your goals, you name it. Having a visual representation of what you're doing, what you're working towards, what you're trying to create, not only does it keep you on track, it will keep you focused on the completion of your project, goal, whatever it is you're doing. Adrian can attest to my spazziness here, but as someone with ADHD, I can attest to how easy it is to get off track, change your mind, forget altogether about what you're working on until like, I don't know, 2 months later.
Yep.
Or even, this is a personal downfall of mine. You work on a project so intensely and for so long that by the time it's time to release it, you are convinced that no one's going to give a shit. When in fact, it'd probably be that's what's going to make it go viral. But whenever creating a vision board for a project, I focus on 3 things. This is my secret sauce, behind the scenes, gotta do it. Number 1, the overall scope of the project. What is the end goal? This needs to be clear. You have to do the before work before you start collecting photos and inspiration. I need to be able to know what this is at a glance. The key here is that I need to know, not necessarily anyone else. You're creating this for you. This is your plan. This is your roadmap. This is your outline, not someone else's. So whenever you are putting this together, don't worry about if someone else gets it. That is the step after this.
Okay. So are we saying like I want to run a campaign for my photography business for more elopement clients?
Sure.
So that's what the end goal is, right?
Yes.
That's what we're saying first. Okay, go on.
Step number 2, item number 2. Remembering that the board is a representation of what is to be, not what already is. When you're creating something new, it isn't likely that you're just doing the same thing over. You're trying to go in a different direction, level up, change course, whatever. It's not going to be something that already exists. And it's important to let yourself dream and imagine here. Don't just keep going back to the same thing.
Yeah. And I think that's really hard. Like saying this is where I'm at. Like, could I, just because I'm putting this onto this board, could I actually achieve these things? And you totally fucking can.
That's the thing. Like it's easy to get caught up in the can I really if you haven't done the other work. Okay, so a big thing about vision boards, I'm just going to use something really simple that everyone can relate to. So like a house, okay?
Okay.
Let's say we are looking for photos for our dream house, not the house I live in now, but something that's maybe like 3 times the budget, okay? Dream house again.
Okay.
You start pinning stuff, you start looking at stuff, and then you get on Zillow and you're like, I don't have $1 million for a home. Why am I even going in this direction? This isn't something that's happening in 3 months, okay? This is the dream, the goal, what we're working towards. If you want those marble floors, babe, put those marble floors on your mood board, your vision board. We're working towards it. We're not building it right now. Period. If you're building it right now, that's a different board. That is completely separate. Now, if you are working on your dream house board, then yeah, we need to make sure we're being realistic. But if we're dreaming for the 10-year plan, please dream.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you have to shoot big.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that's scary, but that's what makes you grow.
That's the point.
Yeah.
If it's not scary, it's not big enough.
If it's comfortable, it's just what you're doing now.
Exactly.
Damn.
Number 3, top 9. So this is something that I have put into practice when I'm making a board, especially for a bigger project or a branding project. Don't limit yourself while you're curating the board. Pin like you online shop. Add to cart, add to cart, add to cart, add to cart, add to cart. You just keep adding, okay? When you feel like you are starting to really gain some clarity, go back and curate. That's when you start, you know what? Hey, this doesn't really fit. I'm going to delete it. Hey, I like this. I'm going to go down this rabbit hole. That's the beautiful thing about Pinterest and their rabbit holes. Whenever you pin something, it gives you more suggestions along that line. So it really does help you stay on course if you let it. Anyways, but the board itself should be something that you can continue to add to and go back to. The top 9 is your reference piece. It's the summary. It's what you have on your wall reminding you every day of the goal. It is not the entire board. When looking at your top 9, you should be able to know what each photo represents, why it's there, what inspires you about it. You should be able to feel inspiration when looking at it. Be like, you know what? I am going to get back into gear and kick ass on this. Yeah. Every time you look at it. To keep moving towards the place you want to be, not stay where you are currently.
So I worked for this guy who was a true psychopath, but he did have a lot of like good information that he told us. Yeah. And he was like, find something that you want, something tangible that you want, and put it on your desk. And so he wanted all of us to have something there in the office on our desk. And like, whenever I started, there's a guy named Jordan that I worked with, and he had a G-Wagon on his desk. He was like, this will be mine one day. And like, I honestly see him getting a G-Wagon eventually. For him, it's something he can achieve, and it's something he would look great in. So I feel like that visual reminder of why you're doing this or what you're going after is huge. So that top 9 is there to be like, this is what you want. Like, do it, get it.
100%. And like, actually, I think it's really great that you said that, because I'm saying top 9 in reference to a big project or the branding course or something like that. But the G-Wagon, that's one thing. You don't have to break down all the steps to getting to that. You just know that that's your end goal and you want it. And so every time you see that photo, you're going to be reminded, I do want this. Is what I'm doing going to get me there? Yeah. And so if there is a smaller goal, your G-Wagon or a trip to Jamaica or
Mhm.
whatever, have some sort of visual representation of that accessible to you daily.
Yeah. Something to, like I said, remind you why you're
Yeah,
working so
make a
hard.
widget on your phone,
Yeah.
tape the photo on your mirror, put
Mhm.
something on your desk, remind yourself what you're working towards, because it is so easy to get hung up and lost in the daily sludge, the grind,
Yeah.
and then we're burnt out and bitter and angry.
Yeah, for sure. And that hustling and like doing like the dirty work to get those things that you want it feels like so hard. It's the end of the world. But then whenever you're like, man, it wasn't really that hard.
No,
like
it
once you
never
actually
is.
get there,
No, it
it's
never
like,
is.
this was nice. It was fulfilling. It was, like whatever. And
well, and honestly, like if it's not hard, you don't appreciate it when you get there.
exactly. And like just like wrapping this up, I feel like all of these things, taking all of these steps to brand yourself as yourself and doing these boards and just being true to yourself makes it to where you have a good foundation to build a business that you will love and you'll be proud of.
100%.
Yeah.
And that foundation's the most important part. Like, yeah, we have fun buying the cute coffee mugs and picking out wall colors and rugs and all that stuff, but like, and I'm not going to say it's not important. The visuals and the tangible things that you provide in your experience, they do matter. They do. But it matters so much less if you are handling your clients inappropriately, if you are offering poor leadership to your team because you don't have those foundations set up to create the appropriate policies that you will uphold to run your business with integrity.
Yeah. As Dr. Phil says, you can't build a strong foundation on sand, which means you got to really get all your shit together before you build your foundation.
Build that foundation on solid ground.
Yep.
Damn, that was good, Dr. Phil.
I know. He's the man.
You know who else said that?
Who?
The Egyptians.
Really?
I don't know. I'm just making that shit up.
It's like Dr. Phil stole it from the Egyptians. I feel like we're just rambling at this point. Okay. We love you so much. We will be back actually next week.
Yeah. We will, because we skipped a week because we were moving.
We
okay,
did.
go us. Yay. See
Yay.
you next week. Bye.
Bye.